good evening. Welcome to Cardiff City TV.
Wilson, a little bit of space for Harry Wilson. Strikes a goal. Oh, what a goal. Morrison, goal!
Good afternoon and welcome once again to Matchday Live, courtesy of Cardiff City TV for this seven-side derby game. Mick McCarthy takes his Cardiff City troops to BS3 to take on Dean Holden and Bristol City. I'm your Matchday pre-game host, John Donovan. Shortly I'll be joined by my partner in crime, Ashley James. And then from 3 o'clock, of course, full coverage, full commentary of the game from Ashton Gate with Mark Denham and Ashley James. Well, I'm not really a stats guy, and somebody might prove me wrong, but I must admit that in terms of a gut feeling, I always dread derby days. Whether it's Swansea City or Bristol City, I'm never quite sure whether Cardiff City will come out on top. Although, of course, Ashton Gate last season, the Bluebirds did pick up a vital win. We will hope for a repeat today. Mick McCarthy has certainly stopped the rot since coming in with 2 draws, and I think it's fair to say that the Bluebirds have been reasonably impressive in the last game and a half, with a lot of positives coming out of it, which I will talk to Ash about in a moment. But whether you're an optimist and you're looking up the table, or you're a pessimist and you're looking down the table, either way, Cardiff City need to start winning games. And what a boost it would be if that win came today in this 7-side derby. So let's have a look at the team that Mick McCarthy has named to try and get that win. It shows one change from the draw against Millwall last weekend. Harry Wilson is in. Leandro Bacuna, who was impressive in that game last weekend, is out. So it probably results in a change of shape, which I'll review with Ash in a moment. But the team in full is Alex Smithies in goal. A back 3 still of captain Sean Morrison on the right, Aidan Flint in the middle, Curtis Nelson on the left. Joe Bennett and Perry NG are the 2 wing backs. We think, and I'll bow to Ash on this, we think a holding 2 of Joe Rules and Will Vokes, and almost like a box-style system with Shea Ojo and Harry Wilson immediately in front of them, with Kiefer Moore up top. On the bench, Dylan Phillips, Joel Bagan, Tom Sang, Marlon Pack, Leandro Bacuna, Junior Hoylett, Murphy, Harris, and Waters complete the lineup. So it's another slight tweak from Mick McCarthy, another slight change of shape. And to discuss that and a whole manner of other things, I will bring in my colleague Ashley James, who's there ready for pre-match in situ for commentary. And Ash, no doubt I will see you in a minute, but hopefully you can hear me. There you are, there's your beautiful face. And you're debuting a new hat today, I know. But Ash, let's take this in phases. First of all, let's go back to last weekend against Millwall. I know sometimes, rightly so, I can be criticised, you could be criticised for being too positive, but I did think there were genuine reasons for optimism coming out of that game. A change of shape, Leandro Bacuna, who doesn't play today, and Shea Ojo impacting the game, particularly in the first half. And more than anything, you had the headphones on, I did, and I was listening to Mick McCarthy and Terry Connor. The coaching from the sidelines and what they want this Cardiff City team to do, it was very evident.
Yeah, afternoon, John. Congratulations on the soul patch, first and foremost. But I thought there was an improvement. I think the last 2 games haven't seen the immediate, perhaps, improvement or massive improvement that we thought that it could instigate. And that's only going to come with time. And look, Mick McCarthy's now had a week on the training pitch this week rather than recovery and playing games. So I'm expecting to see more incremental improvement again today. But there certainly was an improvement, I thought, in terms of system and shape and trying to play with the ball last weekend as opposed to the Barnsley game before that. The pitch at Barnsley was a huge factor in that, I thought. There were frustrations within that. Again, last weekend, we still conceded a silly, needless, sloppy goal that Mick McCarthy will be fuming about and want to stamp out. But in terms of the shape and the 3 at the back, yes, there were issues in the first half. We saw an awful lot of possession, meaningless possession that went nowhere, with the 2 wide centre halves of Morrison right and Nelson on his weaker foot left, where the ball didn't really know where to travel. And as a result, Cardiff were very slow to move the ball on. and it was very pedestrian from front to back. But if you, as you said, if you could hear Mick McCarthy and Terry Connors, they were furious with that as well. They kept insisting that we move the ball quicker. They kept insisting that Will Vogts didn't drop in to become another man there for the ball to just stuck with. They wanted the back three to move it quicker amongst themselves and work on that. And in the second half, when that wasn't getting better through design, they stopped ceding possession in that areas because the opposition were happy for us to have it, and we went a little bit more direct. But crucially, we went more direct into Kiefer Moore from higher up the pitch. So you saw Morrison and Nelson at times stepping into the opposition half, then playing that ball, and then Cardiff were able to win second ball a lot higher up the pitch as a result of it. So there was an incremental improvement even within the game, I thought, from first half to second half, and I think you're going to see that again this afternoon.
And Ash, the wing-backs fascinated me because would it be fair to say that Perry Ng and Joe Bennett, probably not out-and-out bombing down the line wing-backs, but Mick McCarthy, one of the main purposes, what he wanted them to do was open up space for other players, and that was particularly evident. They were taking men away, so Ojo, Bakuna, Harry Wilson, when he came on, could drop into those pockets of space and build off Kiefer Moore like you've described.
Yeah, and I think you'll see that today. I think you're right. I think both Bennett's played a centre-half this season, both Bennett and Perry Ng, in an ideal world, might be playing in the back three. They might be the two wide men in the back three with a real stopper amongst them. We don't have that luxury at the moment because we don't really have a great deal of depth in the wing-back position. So it is Ng at the moment, and it is Bennett. And you're looking at ways that those two can influence the game without really being swashbuckling wing-backs. And what you said was perfect there, John, because what you heard from Mick McCarthy and Terry Connor during that game, the coaching that went on, was to continue to get those two fullbacks to push on and to move men away. So that allowed then Ojo, it allowed Harry Wilson in the second half to just pull into little pockets of space in front of the opposition back four, and influence the game from there. And alternatively, if that ball is going forward from a higher up position into Kiefer Moore, to get those two players in position narrower to go and win second ball.
So Saturday then ticked on to Monday, and of course transfer deadline day. The positive bringing in Johnny Wilson, although unfortunately because of that knock in training he doesn't play today. Robert Glatzel, perhaps surprisingly, maybe in terms of the fact there was no replacement, went out. How did you view Monday and the transfer window really as a whole, which, as Mick McCarthy pointed out, tongue-in-cheek yesterday, included a change of manager?
Yeah, exactly. You know, we've got a new signing in the dugout, which not an awful lot of teams have. There wasn't a great deal of movement in the Championship. I know the question was posed to him in midweek about, you know, Mike Flynn had said in League Two, it's a really dangerous period now, February, because there's so many new players. It's completely, League One and League Two has a huge turnover of loanees always, because you get so many 6-month loanees in the summer, and then you either renew them, or those players who have been frustrated with their lack of game time or have done well in League Two then get the chance at League One. The Championship's different. Derby bucked the trend. They got 5 new players in, but very, very little else was done elsewhere. Johnny Williams, you know, frustrated that he can't make his debut today, obviously, because I think if we're going to play this formation with the 2 number 10s off Kiefer Moore, then it's obvious where he comes into the 4 and he becomes another option in there. Hoylett becomes an option in there when he doesn't have to utilise his aging legs on the outside. So we do really have 4 players capable of vying for those 2 starting spots in that position. And the Glatzel situation was one that clearly he wasn't producing what we'd have wanted for a player that cost the amount of money that he did for Cardiff City. And I do think, regardless of the lack of a replacement, and this might come back to bite us if we don't get results in the next 2 or 3 games and you really are dragged into a relegation fight, but he wasn't producing what was needed, and he, despite the fact how long he'd been in the Championship, he didn't look capable of playing consistently week in, week out at the Championship level.
Just finally, Ash, before we hear from Mick McCarthy, and we'll pick this up the other side of that interlude. Initial thoughts on the team today? I thought Leandro Bakuna was good last week. Harry Wilson came on for a cameo, set up the goal. He looked to have more purpose. Any surprise in that change?
A little surprised that he's gone to the double 10 formation, perhaps, because I with you, I thought the midfield 3 worked well. I thought Rawls came into the game. I thought Bakuna was probably the best of the 3, and I think Mick McCarthy alluded to that. He took him off to make that change for Wilson. But he probably was the best performer of the three at the time. And you could see what they wanted to do. They wanted him driving forward to create space on the left-hand side. And unfortunately, too often for Cardiff, that was Curtis Nelson stepping into that space rather than Joe Rolls being able to pull in it. But you could completely see the design of what they were trying to do. It'll be a little bit different, but it's more adventurous today because you're getting those two number 10s on from the start. And it's all about, like I said, either getting them into that pocket of space to dictate play on the half turn or getting them winning second ball. And that will be crucial.
So we will pick up with Ash. My thanks for the moment, Ash, on the team selection. After we've heard from the gaffer, Mick McCarthy, Ash and myself have reviewed the week. Here's what Mick McCarthy had to say.
Yes, it's been better this week that we've had time to work on a number of things, not just to be having train, recover, play. So that's been good, yes. And yes, I am confident with the players that we've got. I said when I first looked at the squad, I think we've got a good squad of players. If we can get them all firing and back to what they were when they signed and what they were last season when they were getting results, then I'm sure that we can start getting results and start going up the table. I went to watch them against Brentford on Wednesday night. They started well. We're 1-0 up in the first few minutes. And they actually made a good fist of it for quite a while, but Brentford had a very good side and managed to pick a hole in them, but get an equaliser. And it looked like Brentford were always going to win, which they did in the end. But they've got lots of injury problems as well, so I don't know if they've got any coming back, but whether it'll be the team that played on Wednesday, I don't know. We had our opportunities to win the game on Saturday against Millwall, although they had a couple of good chances, but we had more possession, more shots at goal. And, we're doing our level best to win games. Of course, it's important to win them because, yes, the gap from beneath is closing. I see Rotherham are now 5 points behind with a game in hand and we're playing them on Tuesday. So we need to start picking up wins to get away from the bottom half and get closer to the top. Teams who are closer to us at the bottom end of the table are now coming up as opposed to ones at the top end. So, look, we want to get something out of this game first and foremost, and if we do, then we'll be in better shape to deal with Rotherham and Coventry. But it's a big couple of weeks for us. Yeah. I mean, teams can improve considerably. I mean, you see some of the teams have took, lots of players. Derby, for instance, I think they take 5 or 6 players on loan. Yeah. Middlesbrough at the back end with Neil, they took a whole load of players there to freshen them up. It just wasn't. They weren't available here, and to be fair, we have still got a good squad of players. So I said early on to the other question, if I can get them all firing, then we shouldn't be looking behind us. We should be looking up above. Yeah. It's pretty unlikely, but if there was somebody that was available, I'm going to say ticked all the boxes. If they're available now, they won't be ticking all the boxes. Well, it's like a stupid statement, that really. But if there was somebody, because we are a bit light, then we'd still consider it, yes. But I still believe that if that's the case now, and we have to, we have the players that we've got, then we play as the players we've got, and that includes Max Waters, that includes Mark Harris, that includes Ruben, Isaac, whatever they are. The lads below, they've got to have the games.
Mick McCarthy there, reviewing the last week at Cardiff City. I'm still joined by Ashley James. And Ash, what I wanted to ask you, you used the dreaded R word, relegation. I'm still one of those annoying optimists that think a 3-game winning run can get you back in contention for the playoffs. Whatever the case, it does seem that Mick McCarthy is a very cool customer, and we all talk about progressive football, and of course we want to see that, and it is the fashion to have young managers just out of playing, but it does seem like Mick McCarthy, we touched upon it last week, right man at the right time, and he's very cool in what he intends to do with Cardiff City over the next few weeks.
Yeah, I think his experience in this situation, certainly his experience in this situation, a couple of seasons with Ipswich, are going to be key, because he knows all about how to keep a team on the periphery of mid-table and not actually dropping dropping into a relegation fight when I think, younger managers, less experienced managers, there might be a sense of panic about that. And, not just in team selection in your handling, but being able to keep a calm demeanour and an aura around around the training pitch day in, day out, so that doesn't seep into the players. That could be huge.
It does have to start now, though, Ash, doesn't it? Because Bristol City today, we talk about Rotherham, we talk about Coventry. There's time is running out. There's no more looking for next week and the next section of games. It has to start right now.
It absolutely does, because the teams below us are starting to show some form. We're talking about Rotherham. They beat Derby 3-0 not too long ago. They're starting to score goals, Rotherham, which is something Cardiff could do with themselves. It's a huge game this afternoon. Bristol, there always is a local derby. The one, because of it just happened a lot more frequently than the Swansea game even, became the big derby for Cardiff over the years. And today's one of the biggest. You look back at that game in July, very little between the two games, settled after death by Danny Ward, and different circumstances because that was two teams battling for the playoffs. Well, remarkably, I think Bristol, considering all their injury problems, have kept themselves competitive this season. Cardiff, for a number of reasons that we've spoken about over the weeks, haven't. So Cardiff really need a result here this afternoon.
It's far from all doom and gloom at Cardiff City. I was fortunate enough to watch the under-23s in the week. Very, very impressive 4-0 win against Ipswich, and we've seen a number of those players graduate to the bench, both under Neil Harris and now Mick McCarthy. Tom Sang is there today. And also this morning, and hopefully we'll have some goals you can see on your screen, the under-18s beating QPR 5-1 at Leckwith with Zaya Lengenza, Fraser Thomas and Taylor Jones getting goals. So all of a sudden, those green shoots, those promising youngsters are starting to come to fruition.
Yeah, and full credit to the youngsters, full credit to the coaching staff working at those levels, because they're giving the club a silver lining at the moment. It's been a difficult few months at first team level, but behind the scenes, there's some promising shoots. And who knows, the expansion of the substitute bench to 20 players and the pathway that it's afforded to a couple of youngsters. You talked about Isaac Davis and Ruben Cowell, who've sat on the bench the last couple of games under Mick McCarthy. But before that, of course, Mark Harris been brought back in from out of the cold and given a taste of football. Joe Bagan getting starts at left back. Suddenly there's that pathway to first team football that the under-23s can see, and they can start getting excited about. And it might not lead to playing time, but for a young footballer to even be involved in training with the first team squad on the occasion, to be taken to an away game as part of the squad and get used to that, to behave like a professional footballer, that could be massive. So yeah, it affords that pathway. It gives the young players an exciting view of a pathway that there's something there for them to be able to step into first team level. And then behind that, the 18s knowing that they can make that step up to 23 quicker as well.
Ash, I'm conscious of time and you and I can talk forever, but I just want to briefly talk about Bristol City before we hear from Johnny Williams. Dean Holden, should he get more credit for the job he's doing? They've been in an injury crisis pretty much all season, and yet looking at it, they're only, 4 points off the playoff places? Still struck down by injury today. How do you view their season so far, and what threat do they pose to Cardiff City today?
Yeah, I mean, there were two teams at this level that made in-house promotions rather than new recruitments and manager, wasn't there, this summer? One's Bournemouth, and that's worked out badly in Jason Tindall. It would be very unfair to lump Dean Holden into that scenario, because I think he's done a remarkably good job when you consider the injury problems they've had. They've had, 10 first-team players unavailable midweek, and today they lose players. You look at that, they've got 4 left backs on the injury table at the moment. So Adrian Mariappa, a very experienced centre back or right back, is having to play at left back. He's made changes, interestingly, from midweek, and it might make them a bit more expansive, because it looks like they've gone from a 4-4-2 to a 4-3-3, and that strike trio of Semenyo, Jeju and Wells have goals in them, and they have pace in them. So Cardiff, operating with a back three themselves, will have their work cut out. Where I think Cardiff can win the game is the central midfield area. Dean Holden has made changes in there. He's been operating with Zach Feiner, normally a centre-half, and he's been very impressive in the centre of midfield. But he's made changes in there. Joe Williams makes his first appearance of the season, having joined from Wigan in the summer, and he's been injured that entire time. And equally, Henry Lansbury comes in from nowhere to make his debut this afternoon. So I do think there's an opportunity for Cardiff to impose themselves in the middle of the park.
Ash, as ever, we look forward to your commentary shortly with Mark, but thanks for joining us on the pre-game show, and we'll be back with you shortly.
Thank you.
So indeed, a man who was scheduled to make his debut today, Johnny Williams, who will bring a spark at the Cardiff City training ground and in the first team with his personality and his skill, unfortunately doesn't take the field today after that knock he received in training. However, he did speak to Cardiff City TV earlier in the week.
Tell us why this was the move for you this time around.
I'm delighted. Really looking forward to working with the gaffer and TC. I had the pleasure of working with them before. I'm just delighted to be here, delighted to get it done, and can't wait to get going now.
The gaffer and TC are just round the corner here, so careful with this answer. But tell us why you enjoy working with them and why you think they can get the best out of you at Cardiff City.
They're great. Probably played my best football in my career under them at Ipswich. Give me the belief and the freedom to express myself, and I work hard, and just really looking forward to working with them again. And hopefully I can get back to top form and help climb up the table. That's the main aim.
It's an odd one, really, isn't it? Because you're coming to a new club, but Cardiff City fans know what you're about because of what they've seen with Wales. This is a place you've enjoyed playing at, and you know quite a lot of the boys here as well. I know a few of the boys, obviously from Wales, and playing against them over my career. But looking forward to linking up with them in a Cardiff shirt instead of a Wales shirt. It'll be nice, but there's a lot of games coming up, and my main aim is to help try and get this team up the table, and I'll do that by playing as many games as I can and working hard, and we'll see come the end of the season where we are. Late on deadline day, of course, this evening, into training tomorrow and straight at it, but looking forward to it.
Yeah, can't wait. Really looking forward to it. Great opportunity for myself in my career. 27 now, so looking to enjoy myself here and do my best. Hopefully score some goals and assist, and main aim is that we win games. So what I've come here to do is try and win as many games as I can in a Cardiff shirt, and can't wait to get started.
We can't wait to see you. Welcome aboard, mate.
Cheers, thank you.
Top 5 in association with the Big Yellow Self-Storage Company.
Good turn away from Brian. Square ball to Pilkington on his right foot. What a goal! Anthony Pilkington from 25 yards has stunned Ashton Gate. Bristol City 2, Cardiff City 3.
To purchase a pass for live matchday coverage on Cardiff City TV, visit the official Cardiff City FC website. Once logged into your Bluebirds Club account, navigate to Club TV and select Buy Packages. Select the pass you wish to purchase and click Buy Now. Next, fill in your payment details and click Submit Payment. Once your purchase has been successful, you will see this message. You can also check your purchase by clicking the Manage Your Subscriptions button. you now have instant access to live matchday coverage. Visit Club TV and select Live.
Moore's free in the box, 1-0.
Live streams begin 1 hour before kickoff, and recommended desktop browsers are Mozilla Firefox and Google Chrome. You can also watch or listen on the go via the official Cardiff City app. For technical support, email Cardiff TV support at streamamg.com.
Hi, I'm Sean Morrison, Cardiff City captain, and welcome to Bluebirds from Home Festival.
Here from Cardiff City. This is my challenge for the Stay Home Festival. How many keep-ups can I do in a minute? Just give it a go and see how you get on after.
I'm looking forward to seeing all your hard work throughout the week. Don't forget to upload your progress onto social media at CCFC Foundation. Have a great week, and I'll see you soon.
Well, the teams are out at Ashton Gate, so I'll wrap this up quickly. We're about to pass to Mark and Ash for commentary. Just a reminder to switch from YouTube to your Matchday Pass if you haven't already. And also the reason I look more silly than normal, don't forget it's Soul Patch Month for Soul Bamba. Send your photos in for that in support of the big man. But that's all from me for this afternoon. After the credits, it will be Mark and Ash at Ashton Gate.
Good evening, welcome to Cardiff City TV.
Wilson, a little bit of space for Harry Wilson. Strikes a goal! Oh, what a goal! Morrison, goal!
Good afternoon and welcome to Ashton Gate, here in the early spring sunshine, the home of Bristol City, and it's almost as quiet as when Anthony Pilkington scored that goal. You saw the highlights ahead of the game today as the two teams take to the field. Cardiff City and Mick McCarthy looking for their first win. Cardiff, of course, looking for the first win since back in December. It's been a tough time as we embark upon February. Mick McCarthy 2 draws from his first 2 games, and hoping to go one better with a win in the Seven-Side Derby today. It's always one for me, Ash. It's right up there with the South Wales Derby for me as a game that, as a Cardiff fan, I want to win.
Yeah, it has. Good afternoon, everyone. It was forced to be, wasn't it? Because we kept apart from Swansea for so many years, playing in different divisions. This became the de facto derby, and we played each other an awful lot. And other than the glorious 6-0 win at Ashton Gate, they tend to be tight old affairs. Look at the last 4 games between the two clubs have been 1-0 victories either way. So yeah, they tend to be really fiercely competitive, tight affairs, and I'm not expecting anything different this afternoon.
One change for the Bluebirds, as obviously the Bristol lineup, they will come to Bristol shortly. One change for the Bluebirds today, which is the key news. Harry Wilson starts. No place for Johnny Williams, though, who, despite signing the week, picked up a knock in training yesterday, which keeps him out of today's game. Harry Wilson comes in for Leandro Bacuna in that midfield 3, and he'll play at the point of that, you'd imagine, Ash?
Yeah, absolutely, and it looks like it's going to be a double number 10 scenario, doesn't it? So we keep referring to it as the system that Wales played in the Euro 2016 because it is. There's 3 at the back, the wing backs pushing on. You got 2 holding midfielders and 2 number 10s in front of them, with more working alone. It's going to be a lot of impetus on the 2 number 10s, Ojo and Wilson today. One of them, depends which side of the pitch you've got possession, one of them is going to need to try and give us some width, and the other one is going to need to try and drop into that hole and influence the game from that pocket of space.
Bristol